Today we're looking at factorizing non-monic quadratics. So previously all the quadratics you will have worked with are either monic or really can be made monic by factoring out a common factor. You might have done a few completing the square with non-monics, but then you're going to end up with some really, really gross fractions and it's just not going to be a fun time. This is a way of factorizing non-monic quadratics. It's a totally different way of doing it to the way your textbook does it, but it's how I was taught and I find it much easier. It may not be for you, and you're totally welcome to use another method if you find one. So I call this the fraction process because it involves setting up a big fraction and then simplifying it. So your success criteria is really that you can follow that process, which is going to involve setting up your brackets in your fraction, finding the factors of AC that add to give you B, and then simplifying that fraction to its binomial product. So let's step through an example. So the quadratic we're factorizing is 3x squared plus 8x plus 4. Our first step is going to be to set up our fraction. So the way we do that is we set up a pair of brackets just like we want for our binomial product. And we draw a nice straight line and make it a fraction. In that first term of each bracket is going to be the term ax. So we've got ax squared here, remember, because our quadratic is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c. So we want to set up our fraction with ax. So in this case, it's going to be 3x in each bracket. And at the bottom is just going to be our term of a. Okay, so we basically have ax blank times ax blank over a. So that's going to be a 3. Our next step is to find factors of the term ac that add to b. So in this case, ac is going to be 3 times 4. So 12. We want to find factors of 12 that add to 8. So our factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 3 and 4, 2 and 6. They're out of order, but that's okay. So the ones that add to 8 are going to be 2 and 6. So we would insert into our brackets 2 and 6, and then we've still got that over 3. The third step is to simplify the fraction. So one of our bracketed terms should simplify with that denominator. So in this case, 3x plus 6 is divisible by 3. So we're going to cancel these out, and 3x plus 6 is just going to become x plus 2. And obviously that 3 would just become 1, so it cancels out because anything over 1 is just itself. So the expression that we are left with is 3x plus 2 times x plus 2. We can check that by expanding. So we use our FOIL. 3x times x gives us 3x squared. 3x times 2 gives us 6x. 2 times x, 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. So that gives us 3x squared plus 8x plus 4, which is the same as our original equation. Let's give it a go with another one, and we'll do it all in one go rather than each step separately. So we've got 5x squared minus 13x minus 6. So the first thing we do is we set up our brackets, which are going to have 5x in each of them, and that is going to be divided by 5. Now our term AC is going to be 5 times negative 6, which is negative 30. And we want the factors of this, which add to negative 13. So our factors of, we'll just go with 30 for now, we'll work out the negative in a moment. We've got 1 and 30, 2 and 15, 3 and 10. Well, I can see 3 and 10, they would add to 13, but it's got to be negative 13, and to multiply to negative 30, only 1 can be negative, so that's not going to work. But 15 and 2 15 minus 2 is 13. So if we had negative 15, positive 2, that would give us negative 13. So they're the factors we're going to use. If you see the factors early, you don't have to write out the whole list. So we're going to have 5x plus 2 and 5x minus 15. Now, 5x minus 15 and 5, they can cancel out. That 5 will become 1. This will become x minus 3. So our factorized expression is now 5x plus 2 and x minus 3. As always, we should check that. Ooh, lost my mouse again. So 5x times x gives us 5x squared. 5x times negative 3, negative 15x. 2 times x, positive 2x. 2 times negative 3, minus 6, gives us 5x squared minus 13x minus 6. So it's worked. We'll do one more example and then you guys are going to have a go. So this time we've got 4x squared plus 12x plus 5. So we've got 4x divided by 4. Our value of AC is going to be 4 times 5, which is 20. We need factors of 20 that are going to add to 12. Well, I can see already it's going to be 10 and 2. Yeah, because everything's positive. So we're going to have a 10 here and a 2 here. Now, we run into a problem because neither of these brackets are very easily divisible by 4. Don't panic if that happens. Just write out the denominator as a product of its factors, if you like. So we're going to cross out this 4 and write it as 2 by 2. Okay, so that means that way we have a smaller amount that we can use to cancel out our fractions. We can now think of this as this 2 working with this and this 2 working with this. So we're going to cancel that to be 1. And we're going to divide this by 2, which leaves us with 2x plus 5. This will cancel to be 1. This will cancel to be 2x plus 1. So what we're left with is 2x plus 5 times 2x plus 1. Once again, we'll expand that to make sure 2x times 2x, 4x squared, 2x times 1, 2x, 10x, 5, 4x squared, 12x plus 5. That's exactly what we had at the start. So, hey presto, we're all good. As usual, here's the 2 for you to have a go with. So when you're ready, pause the video, have a go, and I'll be back in a sec with your answers. Here's your answers. Hopefully you got them. They were a little challenging because they both required you to write the denominator as a factor of its products. But if you had trouble, write down your question, we'll go through it. These are a lot more challenging than your simple monic quadratics. Happy practicing!